This is the Pilot's News Briefing Podcast. I'm Frank Daniels. With me today is Jonathan Bym from the Pilot's Newsroom, bringing us the latest news in Moore County. And you touched base on a story that you've been tracking for a while about
it's been
the dam.
slow developing. I think this is the first real action of any kind of substance that's happened with the High Falls Dam. Probably it's April or so, maybe last year. They did at least have. So just backing up everything, High Falls Dam was built 1800s for textile, and there's a lot of just backgrounds of people saying what it was used for the High Falls, just their textile mill, and then was transitioned to be a hydroelectric plant or hydroelectric dam. So it has a run, it has a powerhouse and everything up until Hurricane Florence in 2018. So that's been wiped out. So now there is no hydroelectric property, nothing being done there hydroelectric. It's just a dam on the Deep River in High Falls, right off of NC-22. You can see it from the bridge. And then there's a group called Unique Places to Save. Their push has been, hey, let's go up and down these rivers, try to free up river flow, take out these older dams that aren't being used anymore. They've done it groups like this have done it in Carbonton. They're currently in Ramsewer right now doing the same thing upriver from the High Falls Dam, and the High Falls Dam is the next one on their target. And so this group wants to just take out the river, it allows the current ecosystems for endangered species like the Cape Fear Shiner and others, and just to be able to have free flow. And that's what their goal is.
The way that they say it, if I recall correctly from that report, is that it allows for populations to intermingle, population of some endangered species
to spread out the gene pool and everything.
That can mix with downriver.
So it's just that, and then this has been probably, we're 2026. It's been about 8 years-ish or so since the first time Unique Places had a meeting in Robbins and said, hey, we're going to tear down the dam, and basically the community was like, no, you're not, and threw an uproar. So those people went back, and they sat around till 2023. They had a community meeting October 2023 and said, hey, we're here, we're going to do this. So we have Resource Environmental Society or Specialists, I think that's the correct. RES is going to be the contractor on the project, and American Rivers, and they're here. Here's what our plan is, and everybody went up in arms again, and so now it seemed like Unique Places has really got itself situated where it can go through the proper channels, which the last channel needed was going through the Federal Energy. It was FERC, Energy Regulatory Commission.
Right.
They had to go through that because there is hydroelectric on that property, or there was a hydroelectric site on that property at one point.
And that put it under their
so it had to be fully decommissioned, which it is fully decommissioned, but it had to be all the steps for them to take. So now Unique Places has put in their demolition plans for the dam. They put that in about November.
Which might have been the last time we talked about it.
I think it was probably then, yeah. And then so now it's January, or it was it was February 5th is when everything went live on the FERC e-library, where they had the letter from FERC to Unique Places saying, hey, everything's good to go. Minus one thing on your plan, you need to have a little bit more of an evacuation plan for in the event something happens there. What's your evacuation plan? That wasn't included in the emergency plan within the demolition project. So now that has been approved. But the window now is anywhere from late summer, fall into early winter. So that's where I'm guessing now Unique Places is probably sitting. We have not got a comment from them. They have said it's too early in the process for them to give a comment, because there's still a lot of things. For one thing, there is no easement right now for them to get to the property. The easement that goes across. You get right across the High Falls Bridge, you take a left, there's a little gate, and that was the gate to the hydroelectric plant. That was open for Duke Energy. I think it was who was using it. That was anybody that was using that property for hydroelectric was able to use that, go down and do that. That was the easement was that for hydroelectric use, or if you were doing any kind of matter of that. Now there is no hydroelectric easement is gone, and they have further reinforced that there is no easement. And so that's probably something.
You mean the owners of the land?
The owners have basically said, hey, we got a gate. We're going to exercise the option to eliminate or just do away with the easement. And so now I'm sure it's nothing. There's been no court, nothing in courts drawn yet. But I'm sure that's probably the next step we're going to see is probably something in the courts for Unique Places to say, hey, we need an easement to get to our property.
Right, because that's at the moment it's I don't know, the landlocked.
It is landlocked, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it
might not be the right term.
Yeah,
but
it's property. I don't know what the name would
be.
But it says they're basically, because it is, you had to go through a property to go there. There was 3 easements on Larry Booth's property to get there, and all 3 have been expired. So now there is no way other than, I don't know, I guess you could
go up the river.
I don't know.
That's the only thing
you would have to be able to. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if you can even just. I mean, obviously they want to bring in heavy equipment to do all this stuff, so I don't know exactly what. But there was a day, I think it was early December, where they started mobilizing. It was right after they had basically got like the conditional approval from FERC to say, hey, look, you're now in control of this property. Like, we're going to give you this property. You're in control of it to do what you need to do, which it wasn't a full go out there and demolish it, but it was just like, hey, they were going out there. They had an excavator. They had some other heavy equipment. They got out there and started putting up fencing. Okay. They started clearing off trees and just to get to the easement down to the hydroelectric plant, which is probably a good 100, 150 feet down a hill. So I think that's where there was a lot of uproar. Now the property there's posted signs. There's a moving van in front of that, right by that gate. So it's kind of a like it's 2 forces meeting, and now we're going to see what happens. I feel like it's going to go through a legal process before we even see anything happen in High Falls. And if it gets delayed this year, it might be 27, it might be 28. We don't know exactly how long this is going to take, but it's going to sound like it's not going to be something where middle or late, like July, we're going to see unique places out there, or it could. I don't know. It just depends on the speed of the courts.
Okay.
But that's just me speculating. I hate to speculate a little bit, but that's where we're sort of at. That's where there's no easement. So until there's an easement granted, that's where unique places is sort of an impasse.
Yeah. Or I guess, as you indicated as well, however they'd figure out that they can get the equipment to the dam to clear it, whatever that may be, whether it's an easement.
So there is no public access anywhere on the Deep River in Moore County. And that's one of the things that the original plan that was pitched in October 23 was, hey, let's basically say we're going to remove the dam, we're going to build a park, have water access for people to paddle or do whatever they want, or have just a park area. And the plan was actually to offer it back to the county. Say, hey, look, here it is a park. We're donating it back. We have done the work to make it a green space. But now I think that ship's passed, because I think the county has really – there are certain county commissioners who've pushed and said, hey, we're going to make sure this is going to be a water source for us in the future.
As a reservoir, right?
As a reservoir. But that was – whether that is still on the table is what we've just sort of talked about in the newsroom. We don't know if it's still even a viable option.
Right. And also given – and, of course, this is a little off the topic of the High Falls Dam, but given that the commissioners have indicated their willingness to explore Crystal Lake over near Vass as a water source for the county.
Crystal Lake, and there's also the Deep River further down, like near the House and Horseshoe, is another option they've sort of explored maybe before they've even – like that, if I would say in priorities, that those 2 are taking priority over High Falls Dam.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, as you say, you'll keep an eye on for any additional action, whether that's legal action or just some sort of access that Unique Places to Save is able to secure to move ahead with their plans. And until then, if you have questions about Jonathan's story, once you take a look at it, you can send him an email to jonathan@thepilot.com. That's JONATHAN @thepilot.com. You can send me an email to frank@thepilot.com. If you have questions about whatever we do here at the podcast, and that's FRANK@thepilot.com. And that's the latest news in Moore County. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.